VTuber Silvervale claims to be doxxed due to Hogwarts Legacy. Well, this situation looks like a mess. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Tom Dark channel. I'm your host, Tom Dark, and today we will be talking about VTubers again. It's been a little while since I talked about this community. Last time I think it was talking about Nyanners, and before that there was the whole Nux Taku drama that happened that was a huge mess. But today the individual we're talking about is Silvervale.
I'm just gonna establish no one is going to clip this, okay?
You know, I'm gonna be honest, the VTuber content is really not for me, okay? I don't really get the appeal of this stuff, but as much as I want to take a giant dump on all of their videos and streams right now, okay, we have bigger fish to fry. We have to defend the VTuber known as Silvervale, because she was caught and exposed for playing Hogwarts Legacy on her stream, and it ended in her basically crying on her stream because she was harassed and doxxed.
It's been really hard, and I try not to talk about this kind of stuff because my stream is not a place for negativity or bad feelings, and I try not to let you guys see this side of me. I care about you guys, not the random people jumping on a hate mob for clout and attention and wanting to feel special and give themselves a pat on the back for bullying the stupid Harry Potter nerd.
Now, for those of you who don't know, which I have no fucking idea how you could not at this point, if you're, you know, on the internet, if you have, like, a life and stuff, you know, you probably don't know, to be honest, and good for you. But Hogwarts Legacy is, like, the most talked about video game in the world right now. On its own, you would think, like, okay, a Harry Potter video game, why are so many people talking about this? Does anyone even give a shit about Harry Potter? Well, the reason why the game is the topic of conversation is because, you guessed it, leftist Twitter is extremely mad at the existence of this game. The reason being their claim that the creator of the Harry Potter universe, J.K. Rowling, is transphobic. More specifically, the claim that she is a TERF, or a trans exclusionary radical feminist. Now, I guess we have some terms to define here. Transphobia is pretty simple, right? Just someone who doesn't like trans people on the basis that they are trans. But a TERF is basically a woman who holds feminist beliefs, but believes that trans women are not women, and therefore do not belong in women's spaces, should not enjoy the benefits of feminism, they don't face the same struggle, they shouldn't be seen as women in the same way as cis women, etc., right? All of that stuff. That's what a TERF believes. Now, to be honest, I don't feel informed enough to tell you guys if TERFs are like this rampant issue, or if all TERFs are the same as a general transphobe, or if TERFs are justified in their position and like they're actually misunderstood. I just don't know, okay? I'm not a woman. I don't know that many trans people either. I've known like 5 women in my entire life, and they've all pretty much been girls I was like romantically involved with, so I just don't feel like I can have like a great take here, okay? I'm not gonna talk out of turn, okay? I know my place. But what is important is that J.K. Rowling is fucking hated by leftists, and particularly trans leftists, because they believe that she wants to invalidate their existence and poses some kind of threat to the legitimacy of the trans community, because obviously she's famous and has like a big Twitter account, right? So what did Rowling say exactly to be declared a TERF and make them so mad? Well, I managed to find this article by Glamour that claims to be a complete breakdown of the situation, so I just thought, you know what, we'll take a look at this article, see what they have to say, see what their kind of summary is, and go from there. On June 6th, 2020, Rowling retweeted an op-ed piece that discussed people who menstruate, apparently taking issue with the fact that the story did not use the word women. People who menstruate. I'm sure there used to be a word for those people. Someone help me out. Wumbin? Wimpund? Wumud? She wrote. That initial tweet garnered a lot of backlash, but the Harry Potter author did not relent and wrote about her views in more detail. If sex isn't real, then there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate to speak the truth, she tweeted. The idea that women like me, who have been empathetic to trans people for decades, feeling kinship with them because they're vulnerable in the same way as women, i.e. to male violence, hates trans people because they think sex is real and has lived consequences, is nonsense. She continued, I respect every trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them. I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans. At the same time, my life has been shaped by being female. I do not believe it's hateful to say so. And to me, I mean, so far this seemed like a pretty measured, kind of educated take, you know? Maybe I need to read in between the lines here for how this is transphobic. Maybe I'm not educated enough on the topic. I honestly don't find anything super egregious about what she said. And I'm not someone who's gonna like pretend to be like a trans advocate or anything like that, because I'm not. But at the same time, I think it's important to be able to critically assess, like, is this transphobic, is this not? And what she said here, in my opinion, is not. However, she went on to release a long sort of manifesto titled TERF Wars, basically in response to the backlash she received, and this is what got a ton of people really fucking mad. It ignited a lot of responses from other people on Twitter who felt that she was being transphobic with it. They said she was spouting misinformation about some stories she told in there. They say she was promoting TERF talking points. Rowling's initial tweets and her subsequent doubling down have drawn a lot of ire from trans activists and Harry Potter fans, many of whom had found comfort in the story story of an outsider finding a place where he belongs. Harry Potter is about the magic of love, acceptance, and belonging, the power of courage, the impact of hope. Trying to take those things away from people is a tragedy. Trans women are women. There's just no evidence that me being me is causing problems for any of the other women I've met. If there are ever any problems between women and trans women, they should be dealt with sensitively and sensibly on a case-by-case basis. Please, for the love of God, leave us alone. Do not read J.K. Rowling's transphobia manifesto. I already did it for you. Every line is misinformation, fear-mongering, misgendering, othering, ignorance, far-right language / dog whistles, and pure hate. It's not just ugly.
This is hate.
Don't ingest this BS, I beg you. Please be aware, this is a blog post pinned to the top of J.K. Rowling's Twitter profile. Do not read this hatefulness, especially if you are trans. I will not explain the details because I don't want to hurt you. It's bad. Take my word for it. And beyond this interaction, basically, this is where it all started, but it spiraled into other celebrities feeling the need to tweet out in support of trans people, like Emma Watson, who famously played Hermione in the Harry Potter films. Other actresses from the movies tweeted similar stuff, and none of them outright went after Rowling, but it was sort of this sly, condemnation. It was like, we see what you said, we don't want to be lumped in with you, we're pro-trans all the way, and we don't want you to taint our sort of image with this manifesto and these opinions you're expressing. And ever since then, there's been a lot of hatred for J.K. Rowling. There's YouTube video after YouTube video calling her transphobic, of course, from that sort of community, and once in a while a tweet will blow up, kind of reminding people, being like, hey guys, we think she's transphobic, she is transphobic. They're like, J.K. Rowling, you are not pro-trans or whatever, and some people were like, well, we disagree with that, we disagree with what she said, but we can still enjoy the stuff she made because Harry Potter is one of the biggest media IPs of the last 20 years, so how can we ignore this undeniable franchise with a bunch of good content in it just because the creator of the franchise has some opinions we disagree with? But that's not the prevailing opinion.
I do want to say that I don't feel bad for enjoying the world of Harry Potter still, and I really hope that fans out there don't. It might take a while before you get back into it, but I think you can definitely still appreciate the creation and the world that's been created without liking the creator. I understand how some people will feel conflicted about this, but remember, we have wonderful trans allies and vocal trans activists like Emma Watson. And who knows, we potentially might not have had that voice within society and have a celebrity with that power who stood up for trans rights if it hadn't been for J.K. Rowling's creation. So it's not all bad. There's positives out of this situation. I think that in a way, J.K. Rowling is so far removed from what she created now that you can watch Harry Potter and it's still a world you can escape to.
And with all of that content, this leads us to the present day. In the lead up to Hogwarts Legacy, you had a lot of people upset and saying that the game should be boycotted because it will be contributing money to someone, being Rowling, who is transphobic, she's hateful, she's a TERF, and she needs to have her income hurt for her opinions, basically. She needs to have some money taken away from her, some opportunity loss.
Any support of the Harry Potter franchise's current projects while J.K. Rowling is in charge of it, and using her ongoing platform to target and also justify her continued targeting of trans people is harmful to trans people. On Saturday, February 4th, I was made aware of an extensive and blatant ad campaign for Hogwarts Legacy on Twitch, utilizing and interrupting streams to promote this offensive product. Hogwarts Legacy is a product ultimately funding J.K. Rowling, whose well-documented stance on trans people remains firmly rooted in a callous disregard for human life. Therefore, I will not be streaming it to Twitch while this ad campaign remains active. I call on every streamer to join me in taking a stance against bigotry, hatred, and those who support such views. I call on Twitch to end this harmful relationship with Hogwarts Legacy and to continue to take steps providing a safe space for trans people.
This is really the start of the boycott. You had a bunch of tweets of people saying, boycott Hogwarts Legacy, boycott J.K. Rowling, things to that effect. And there was a ton of tweets like this at the time, basically saying, if you promote this game or buy it, you are supporting transphobia, you're complicit in it, you're benefiting from it, that kind of thing. This is a sentiment that we've seen a lot in the last few years online. Basically the idea that if you purchase a piece of media made by a bad person or a person you disagree with or a controversial person, then you are just as bad as them, or you should be criticized for enjoying that media, right? And this is something I totally disagree with. I mean, I think we should be able to separate the art from the artist to an extent. I personally love a lot of music from artists who, are probably bad people. Regardless of that, I can still partake in their art without supporting them as a person. Now, it's true that, when you purchase their art, you probably fund them in a way, right? You probably fund their art being created more. But at the same time, it's like you can't spend your life hyper-analyzing the source of every single media you consume, or you will not consume any media, any product ever. You'll enjoy fucking dirt because the dirt didn't do anything wrong. I personally love mindless self-indulgence and Marilyn Manson, and I'm fully aware of the allegations made against both of them, but at the end of the day, I'm not a fan of who they are as people. I'm a fan of their music, I'm a fan of their art, their output, and to get access to Hogwarts Legacy, you do have to purchase it on Steam if you want to enjoy that piece of art. I mean, I guess you can pirate it for sure, but generally with new games, the best way to play is to just buy it legitimately, so you can easily get DLC and updates and patches and stuff like that without any issues, and you can fund future projects by voting with your wallet, right? If you want Hogwarts Legacy 2 or another Harry Potter game in that universe, then if you buy it, that money will probably probably, be an indicator to the publisher, to the people that work for it, that, oh, people want a new game. We can work on more projects in this kind of realm. And with something as mild as this, I mean, Hogwarts Legacy is such a big AAA game that it undoubtedly is being worked on by like 100 or more people. So you can say, oh, well, Rowling's opinions are wrong and she should not be supported, but you're also supporting all of the other people who aren't millionaires like her that worked on the game, right? People who are just artists and programmers working on the game when you make that purchase. Tons of talented artists, plenty of which are probably LGBT or trans. I don't know if you guys have ever been to art school, but the amount of gay people there is fucking, higher than the average per capita in the general population, I'll say that much. I mean, all of the people tweeting this are tweeting it from iPhones, which are made by fucking child slaves hired by Apple to build their products, and that's just because bad things happen everywhere and people do bad things in every facet of the world. That water bottle you're drinking out of, oh, well, turns out it was packed by fucking animals dying. Turns out they actually liquefied a pig to make that bottle. I mean, honestly, the child slaves are a much bigger issue in my eyes than whatever this author said on Twitter. I don't give a shit what she said. If you enjoy Harry Potter, you should just play the fucking game. The fact that this is even a conversation being had in the first place is so stupid. If every dollar donated was going to like the Axe Fund, right? The anti-LGBT Axe Fund, to put them into the hands of transphobes, then that would be one thing. But it's not at all. It's going to Harry Potter. I mean, she's rich anyway. She's so rich beyond your wildest dreams that nothing you could do with your measly little wallet, your $60 game purchase, that could never affect her. Do you think J.K. Rowling really needs your money? She's so wealthy from Harry Potter, she could buy your entire hometown and foreclose every business in it for fun. And she'd do it in like a weekend. It would be so fast you wouldn't even know what happened. So the idea that you're making any meaningful difference anyway with your silly little boycott is just, it's just dumb. You're not capable of fucking anything. But this brings us to the release of the game, which was absolutely massive. It was actually the most popular game on Steam at the time of release. The planetary success of Hogwarts Legacy continues, with a new report revealing that the hit action RPG tops the Australian sales chart in its launch week. This development underlines the game's early momentum, which is already at a point where Avalanche Software might want to reconsider its lack of Hogwarts Legacy DLC plans. So far, the new Harry Potter game broke a 22-year-old sales record in the UK and became the most viewed single-player title in the history of Twitch, as well as WB Games' biggest Steam launch to date. These early milestones alone already make it one of the most successful games of the year, especially seeing how it has yet to reach half its target platforms. Namely, Avalanche Software is still working on porting the game to last-gen console, which boasts a combined installed base of nearly 300 million units, according to turn-of-the-year data. So the game really took off. It was a huge release. Probably it was made bigger by the existence of the boycott in general, because a lot of people were like, oh, I never would have heard about this game without the existence of this boycott, so it served as like a marketing strategy, and then of the people that heard about it, they're like, oh, it's controversial or something? Now I want to like try it out and see what all the fuss is about. Basically making the boycott against the game a huge backfire for those who supported it, and now the game is an even bigger success than it would have been on its own.
Epic fail.
So with it being such a big game and sort of this big cultural phenomenon, a lot of streamers and YouTubers wanted to play the game, including VTubers, which include Silvervale. Silvervale decided to stream herself playing Hogwarts Legacy.
We somehow finally got our letter, even though we're like a 5th year, which feels perfect for us because we're all grown up now and we finally have to go to Hogwarts. So, like it fits.
And this made a lot of people on Twitter really fucking mad. She got death threats, she was told to KYS incessantly by like thousands of people. She got a lot of straight up hateful comments just because she wanted to play this game on stream. And this is kind of commonplace online if you go against the trans community or if there's some kind of like perceived slight against them.
And harassment and doxing and people doxing my friends and like so much horrible, vile things, all from streaming a video game.
It's not all trans people, and I don't want to make like a blanket statement like every trans person does this, because it's not like that, but there is this certain sect of online trans people, of terminally online trans individuals who go fucking apeshit at any perceived slight or disrespect. I mean, I talked about this on my channel before, but when a harmless joke tweet came out with a picture of me and my girlfriend in it pretending that we had transitioned, the outcry was so fucking insane it was unreal. Death threat after insult, after, wishing for us to die, stuff like that. And it was literally in the thousands. There were thousands of quote tweets on this one tweet, which was a completely inoffensive joke.
Time for Power Rangers!
So there is no doubt in my mind that this happened to Silvervale and other people who were playing the game, because these people are just nuts. This is a common thing that happens anytime you speak out against these issues. This isn't to say that other communities don't also do that. I'm gonna try to pad this and qualify it as much as I can, because this is not like an all trans people thing. This is particularly this like group of online trans people who are like this. They're probably like teenagers too.
Not sure if people realize this, but the majority of hate and doxing the streamers are receiving from the Wizard game is manufactured by right-wingers to damage the reputation of trans people, and it's working flawlessly. Psyops are at an all-time high right now. I mean, trans people are probably gonna side-eye, but no one gives enough of a to spam hate at streamers. Deranged right-wingers who post hatred all day in LGBT chats have no problem making fake accounts to make us look bad. Media literacy is at an all-time low in 2023.
Now guys, this tweet, okay, alleging that it's all a psyop, this is cap. This is fucking cap, okay? I'm gonna keep it a $1.50 and say this is fucking fake. I'm sure there are right-wingers who are dedicated to, like, you know, faking these threats. Anytime there's a trans person online, they're like, oh, don't you mean him? Oh, don't you mean her, right? Those people do exist, and there's definitely a lot of, you know, hateful people on the right wing. I'm not gonna deny that. I'm not gonna deny that a lot of them are spurgy. But by that same token, a lot of people on the far left are exactly the same way. Because when you're involved in radical politics, you're probably gonna be somewhat of a fucking nut job, okay? You just are. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that a decent amount of leftists or progressives or trans people or K or any intersection of those ideals or identities were being insanely toxic and sending hate towards Silvervale and others like her, because this is just a regular occurrence online. I've seen it time and time again. It happened to me. And to deny that is to deny reality. No one gives a fuck enough to spam hate at streamers. Yeah, they fucking do. I guarantee you, there are thousands and thousands who give way too much of a fuck and absolutely did engage in that kind of behavior. If you even doubt that this happened, you are delusional. And if you go on Twitter, there are tons of trans people justifying her being doxxed and saying that she deserved it.
Putting this out there, but honestly, I don't feel bad for Silvervale. Trans people are doxxed and killed simply for just existing. From what I've seen, there wasn't even confirmation she was doxxed. You knew the consequences of streaming the game and auto-modding trans.
And like, okay, yes, there are trans people who are killed for existing. That's not a good thing. Nobody here is supporting that. There are trans people who are doxxed for existing and just being trans. Nobody's supporting that. I'm not supporting that. That's not cool. But Silvervale did not do that. J.K. Rowling did not do that. Nobody in this equation did anything even remotely close to that. So why would you justify what happened to her as if it's like all par for the course, okay? Because she played a fucking video game? Are you retarded? And if you think this makes trans people look good or is like some sort of victory for them, then you are dead wrong. Because stuff like this just makes them look insane and vindictive and evil, okay? And obviously, not all of them are. Not even most of them are. It's probably like less than 10% of trans people who engage in this kind of stuff online. But this vocal minority online that behaves this way has a terrible effect on how the rest of trans people are perceived, and it sucks. You guys fucking suck. Thankfully, though, a lot of streamers had good takes on the situation and more or less came to the defense of anyone who's being attacked under these circumstances. Shocking to me that people think the way to protest Hogwarts Legacy is to bully and harass those who are playing/streaming it. No one likes you. You're not helping anyone. You're just a piece of shit. If you buy #Hogwarts Legacy because you're excited to play it, you aren't transphobic. If you boycott the game, you're not a bad person. If you call someone transphobic for buying the game, you're an asshole. If you say you're buying to piss off the libs, you're an asshole too. If you support Hogwarts Legacy, or like Harry Potter, you're automatically a transphobe. Yeah, that's like saying if you've ever played a Blizzard game, you're automatically a fan of sexual harassment. Where do people come up with these brain rot takes? Well said, Axeman, well said. There's a lot of brain rot on the timeline these days, okay? Gotta wade through it, gotta deal with it, gotta fight it. It's a kind of situation that did not need to happen all around, but in the end, those who wanted to boycott Hogwarts Legacy and get back at J.K. Rowling, or those who wanted to dox and harass Silvervale, just fucking played themselves. Now, the game is more popular than ever, and now Silvervale is getting support from the entire internet, and they made their movement look bad. If they just like chilled out and got angry about things that actually mattered, then people would take them more seriously, okay? And I know there are those out there who think I'm transphobic. There are those who want me to be transphobic, but I honestly have no strong opinion on trans people. I think they should be able to do whatever they want, dress however they want, you know, get whatever surgeries they want. It doesn't concern me. I don't care. It's not even in my peripheral vision. They can do whatever they want. I just don't give a But when you do stuff like this that directly hurts other people, like content creators who are famous and are obviously going to say something about it to their massive audience of people, then repercussions will happen. Your community will look bad. If you genuinely want to support the trans community, then I think genuinely the most beneficial thing you can probably do is chill the fuck out and just act normal and just be cool. That's it. Anyway, that about wraps up this video. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like, and if you hated it, leave a dislike. And either way, drop a comment down below telling me how you all feel about the situation. So it's good to hear how you guys feel about these rather contentious issues, okay? Seriously though, fuck VTuber content, I can't stand that shit. Check out the community at turkeytom.gg and check out my website at turkeytom.net to see all of my links. I will see you all in the next Tom Dark video very soon. Bye. Bye. Yeah, I'll see you later. Leave me alone. Bye.